Stop being too friendly. Yes, I said it, because many of you are not kind. You are over-giving, over-explaining, over-allowing people into your life who were never meant to stay. You smile when you're disrespected. You help when you're exhausted. You say yes when your soul is screaming no. And then you wonder, why do people take me for granted? Let me tell you something powerful. People don't respect what comes too easy. When you are always available, always agreeing, always sacrificing, you are teaching people one thing: I have no boundaries. And when there are no boundaries, there will be no respect. God did not create you to be used. He created you to be valued, honored, and purposeful. But you cannot walk in that purpose. If you are too busy pleasing everyone around you, stop trying to be liked by everyone. Because the moment you try to please everyone, you start losing yourself. Sometimes, the most spiritual thing you can do is say, no, that's not okay. I won't tolerate that. Because your peace, your energy, your time, these are not cheap things. They are sacred. Not everyone deserves your access. And the day you truly understand this, your life begins to change in ways you never imagined. You see, access is not just about being physically present in someone's life. It is about emotional availability, your time, your energy, your attention, your secrets, your kindness. These are not small things. These are pieces of your life. And yet many people give them away so freely, as if they have an unlimited supply. Look at your daily life. There are people who call you only when they need something. The moment their problem is solved, they disappear. But when they return, you welcome them again with the same warmth, the same openness, the same access, and then you wonder why you feel drained, why you feel used. The truth is simple but hard to accept. You allowed it. Access is a privilege, not a right. Imagine your life like a house. Would you give every stranger the keys to your home? Would you allow anyone to walk into your room, touch your belongings, and stay as long as they want? No. You would be careful. You would choose who enters. You would protect your space. Then why don't you do the same with your heart and your life? There is someone in your life right now who listens to you only to judge you. Someone who smiles in front of you but speaks differently behind your back. Someone who doesn't clap when you win but suddenly appears when you fail. And still, you keep giving them access. You keep letting them sit at the table of your life. Why? Because you are afraid of being alone? Because you want to be liked? Because you think being available makes you a good person? Listen carefully. Being accessible to everyone does not make you good. It makes you vulnerable. There's a difference between being kind and being careless with your boundaries. Think about a student who shares all his answers during an exam. At first, people love him, they sit next to him, they talk to him, they depend on him, but deep down they don't respect him. They use him. The moment he stops helping, they leave. Why? Because their connection was never based on value. It was based on convenience. The same thing happens in life. When you give people unlimited access, they don't see your worth. They see your availability. And availability without value leads to invisibility. There is a powerful truth you must accept. People treat you based on how you allow them to treat you. If you reply instantly every time, if you always adjust, if you always forgive without change, if you always show up even when they don't, you are silently telling them, no matter what you do, I will still be here. And once people believe that, they stop trying. They stop respecting your time. They stop valuing your presence. They stop fearing your absence. There is a girl who always listens to her friends' problems. Day and night she is there. She sacrifices her sleep, her time, her peace. But when she needs someone, no one is available. She feels broken. Not because people are bad, but because she never taught them how to treat her. There is a boy who always says yes. Yes to extra work, yes to favors, yes to plans he doesn't even enjoy. People call him nice, but inside he feels exhausted and unappreciated. His problem is not kindness. His problem is lack of boundaries. You must understand this deeply. Every time you say yes to the wrong people, you are saying no to yourself. Every time you give access to someone who doesn't value it, you are reducing your own worth in your own eyes. This is not about becoming cold or selfish. This is about becoming wise. Not everyone who enters your life deserves a front row seat. Some people should stay outside. Some should stay at a distance. Some should never enter at all, because your life is not a public place. It is a sacred space. You don't need to explain yourself to everyone. You don't need to share everything with everyone. You don't need to respond to everyone. Silence is also an answer. Distance is also a message. Boundaries are also a form of self-respect. And here is the most powerful realization. The right people will never be offended by your boundaries. They will respect them. They will honor them. They will stay, even when access is limited. But the wrong people, they will get uncomfortable. They will complain. They will leave. And that is not a loss. That is protection. Kindness is beautiful. It is powerful. It has the ability to heal hearts, build relationships, and create light in dark places. But kindness, without boundaries, becomes a silent invitation for exploitation. Many people are proud of being kind. They say, "I have a good heart." And yes, that is something rare. But what they don't realize is this: a good heart without strength becomes an easy target. Think about a workplace situation. There is an employee who always stays late, covers for others, takes extra responsibilities without complaining. The boss praises them at first. Colleagues admire them. But over time, something changes. The extra work is no longer appreciated. It becomes their normal. Now, if they leave on time just once, people question their dedication. What happened? Their kindness had no boundaries. So it was turned into an expectation. When you don't set limits, people stop seeing your effort as a gift. They start seeing it as your duty. And the most dangerous part is, it happens slowly. No one walks into your life and says, "I'm going to take advantage of you." They test you, little by little. "Can you do this for me? Just one more favor. You're so nice. I knew you wouldn't say no." And every time you say yes against your will, you are training them how to treat you. You are teaching them that your time is flexible, your energy is unlimited, and your needs come last. Kindness without boundaries creates one-sided relationships. You give, they take, you sacrifice, they benefit, you stay silent, they continue, and deep inside, you start feeling something heavy, something painful, something you can't explain. That feeling is not because you are kind. That feeling is because you are being taken for granted. There is also emotional exploitation. Someone shares all their problems with you. You listen, support, advise, comfort. Hours go by, days go by, you become their emotional support system. But when you try to open up, they are busy, they change the topic, they disappear. You were there for them, but they were never there for you. That is not friendship. That is emotional dependency on one side and emotional neglect on the other. Kindness is not saying yes to everything. Kindness is not sacrificing yourself completely. Kindness is not ignoring your own pain to comfort others. Real kindness includes yourself. Imagine a cup of water. If you keep pouring into others' glasses without refilling your own, eventually your cup becomes empty, and an empty cup cannot help anyone. Yet so many people live like this, giving until they feel exhausted, unappreciated, and invisible. Then they start blaming others, but the real question is, who allowed this pattern? There is strength in saying, "I can't do this right now." There is power in saying, "I need time for myself." There is respect in saying, "This doesn't feel right to me." Because every time you set a boundary, you are not rejecting others. You are protecting yourself. And the people who truly value you will understand. They won't guilt trip you. They won't pressure you. They won't make you feel bad for having limits. But those who only benefit from your kindness will react. They will say you've changed. They will say you've become selfish. They will try to make you feel guilty. But understand this clearly. You didn't become selfish. You became aware. There is a difference between being a good person and being an available person. A good person knows when to give and when to stop. An available person gives until there is nothing left. And the world respects those who respect themselves. Because when you start valuing your time, your energy, your peace, people have no choice but to value it too. Your kindness should not cost you your happiness. Your generosity should not drain your soul. Your heart should not become a place where everyone comes to take. but no one comes to give. And the moment you realize this, you stop being easy to use. Saying no is not rejection. It is protection. It is one of the purest forms of self-respect. Yet so many people are afraid of it, as if that one word has the power to destroy relationships. But the truth is, the inability to say no destroys something far more important. It destroys you from the inside. Now imagine if they had said, "No, I can't. I need to focus on my exam." Would it have been rude? No. Would it have been selfish? No. It would have been self-respect. Saying no is choosing your priorities over temporary approval. There is an employee who is already overwhelmed with work. The boss comes and says, "I need you to handle one more task." The employee feels the pressure. They want to say, "I'm already at my limit," but instead they say yes. They stay late, feel stressed, lose sleep, and their performance starts dropping. Now the same boss who once appreciated them starts questioning their efficiency. Why? Because they didn't respect their own limit. When you don't say no, people assume you can handle everything. And when you break under pressure, they don't see your struggle. They see your failure. There is power in saying, "I cannot take this right now," because that sentence protects your energy, your mental health, and your quality of work. There is also emotional pressure in relationships. Think about it deeply. If you cannot say no to others, it means you are constantly saying no to yourself, no to your rest, no to your peace, no to your priorities, no to your growth. And over time, this becomes a pattern. You become the person who is always available, always helpful, always adjusting. People praise you for being so nice, but deep inside, you feel invisible because no one sees your struggle. Why would they? You never showed them your limit. There is a powerful shift that happens when you start saying no. There is a girl who always lends her time to everyone, helping friends, running errands, solving problems. One day she decides to say no, just once, and suddenly people react differently. Some get surprised, some get upset, some try to convince her, but something important happens. She realizes who respects her boundaries and who only benefited from her lack of them. Saying no reveals the truth about people, but the wrong people will resist. They will pressure you. They will make you feel guilty. And that reaction tells you everything you need to know, because anyone who gets angry at your boundaries was benefiting from you having none. There is also a deeper level to this. Saying no builds your identity. It tells the world, "I know my limits. I know my priorities. I know my worth." And when you know your worth, you stop negotiating your peace for temporary approval. You stop explaining yourself to everyone. You stop over-justifying your decisions. You stop feeling guilty for choosing yourself because you understand something powerful. Not every opportunity is meant for you. Not every request deserves your time. Not every person deserves your energy. And that clarity changes everything. You start focusing on what truly matters. You protect your time like something valuable. You give your energy where it is respected, not just requested. Saying no is not a weakness. It is discipline. It is clarity. It is self-awareness. And most importantly, it is self-respect in action. Over-friendliness may look like a beautiful quality on the surface, but when it is not balanced with awareness, it becomes a silent magnet for the wrong people. It sends a message you may not even realize you are sending. I am easy to approach, easy to influence, and easy to use. And the truth is, the wrong people are always looking for someone like that. Think about your daily life. There is always that one person who becomes too close too quickly. They share everything within days. They expect your time instantly. They act like you owe them something, even though you barely know them. And because you are naturally friendly, you don't stop them. You welcome them, you trust them, you open your space. But what feels like connection is often just fast attachment without depth. Real relationships take time. They grow slowly. They are built on trust, consistency, and respect. But over-friendliness skips all those steps. It opens the door wide, before you even know who is standing outside. And when the door is always open, anyone can walk in. There is a powerful pattern you must notice. The right people approach with respect, but the wrong people rush with comfort. The right people take time to understand you. The wrong people try to access you instantly. There is a student who joins a new class. On the first day, they try to be friends with everyone, smiling, talking, sharing, being open. It feels good at first, but soon, certain people start asking for favors, copying work, borrowing things without returning. The student feels uncomfortable, but doesn't know how to step back because everything moved too fast. That is what over-friendliness does. It removes the natural filter that protects you. Because when you don't create layers, people don't earn their place in your life. They simply take it. And not everyone who enters your life comes with good intentions. Some come out of curiosity. Some come out of convenience. Some come because they see an opportunity. Over-friendliness makes you visible, but it also makes you vulnerable. There is also something deeper happening. When you're overly friendly, you often ignore red flags. You focus on being liked, on maintaining a good image, on keeping things smooth. Even when something feels off, you brush it aside. He didn't mean it. She's just having a bad day. It's okay, I don't want to overreact. But that silence, that ignoring, gives the wrong people more space. There is a girl who meets someone new and instantly becomes very open. She shares her personal stories, her struggles, her emotions. The other person listens, not to understand, but to collect. Later, those same things are used against her, in arguments, in gossip, in manipulation, and she wonders, how did this happen so fast? It happened because access was given before trust was built. Over-friendliness often confuses attention with connection. Just because someone talks to you a lot doesn't mean they care about you. Just because someone is around you often doesn't mean they respect you. The wrong people know how to act friendly. They know how to mirror your energy. They know how to make you feel comfortable quickly. But their intention is not to build something real. It is to gain something easy. And when they realize there are no boundaries, they go further. They test your patience. They test your limits. They test how much they can take without giving anything back. There is a boy who becomes friends with everyone in his workplace. Always joking, always helping, always available. But slowly, he becomes the one everyone depends on for extra work. They dump tasks on him, interrupt his time, expect him to adjust. And when he finally tries to step back, people act surprised. You've changed. You're not the same anymore. But he didn't change. He just stopped allowing what should never have been allowed. Over-friendliness creates a false version of you in people's minds, a version that has no limits. And when you try to correct that image, people resist. Not because you are wrong, but because they were benefiting from your openness. There is another reality you must accept. The wrong people are attracted to ease, not depth. They don't want to earn your trust. They don't want to prove their loyalty. They don't want to invest time. They want quick access, quick comfort, quick benefit. And over-friendliness gives them exactly that. But the right people, they don't rush. They observe. They respect space. They understand that real connection cannot be forced or fast-tracked. So when you are too open, too available, too easy to approach, you often filter out the right people and attract the wrong ones. Because the right people value boundaries, and the wrong people look for the absence of them. There is strength in taking your time, in letting people earn your trust, in observing their actions before believing their words, in giving access slowly, not instantly, because your life is not a place for random entry. It is a space that should be filled with people who respect your presence, not just enjoy your availability. You don't have to stop being friendly. That is not the lesson. The lesson is to become aware, friendly, but not open to everyone, kind, but not accessible to everyone, warm, but not easy to reach without purpose. Because the moment you start choosing who gets close to you, you stop attracting people who come to take advantage and start attracting people who come with respect. Your value is not something you announce. It is something people recognize based on how you treat yourself. And one of the strongest signals you send to the world is this: what you allow, what you tolerate, and what you protect. The moment you start protecting yourself, your time, your energy, your emotions, something powerful begins to shift. People start seeing you differently, not because you said anything, but because your actions quietly declared, "I know my worth." Look at everyday life. There is always that one person who is constantly available. No matter the time, no matter the situation, they are always there. At first, people appreciate it, but slowly something changes. Their presence becomes normal. Their effort becomes expected. Their absence doesn't even get noticed. Think about a simple daily example. Imagine two friends. One replies instantly to every message, no matter what they are doing. The other replies when they are free, without rushing, without pressure. Over time, people start respecting the second person's time more. They think twice before interrupting. They wait. They appreciate the response. Not because the second person is better, but because they protect their time. Protection creates perception. There is also emotional protection. There is a person who shares everything with everyone, their plans, their struggles, their secrets. At first, it feels like honesty, like openness. But soon, people start taking that information lightly. Some ignore it. Some misuse it. Some don't even take it seriously. Now think about someone who shares selectively. They open up slowly. They choose who to trust. When they speak, people listen carefully. When they share something personal, it holds weight. Why? Because not everything is available to everyone. What is rare is respected. What is protected is valued. There is a student who allows others to copy their work every day. At first, it feels like helping, but soon classmates stop asking. They assume. The student's effort becomes invisible. No one appreciates the hard work anymore. One day, the student decides to stop. They protect their work. They say, "I can help you understand, but I won't give you the answers." Suddenly, everything changes. People react. Some get upset. Some try to convince. But eventually, they start respecting that decision. Now, the student is no longer seen as easy. They are seen as someone with standards, and standards increase value. Protection is not about pushing people away. It is about defining how close they can come. There is a boy who always tolerates disrespect from his friends, jokes that go too far, comments that hurt, behavior that crosses the line. He laughs it off, thinking it keeps the bond strong. But deep inside, he feels small. One day, he decides to speak up, calmly, clearly, without anger. He says, "That's not okay with me." The room goes silent. People are surprised, but from that moment, something shifts. The same people who once crossed limits now think before they speak, because he protected his dignity. And dignity, when protected, becomes power. You must understand this deeply. The way you protect yourself teaches people how to treat you. If you protect your time, people won't waste it. If you protect your energy, people won't drain it. If you protect your peace, people won't disturb it easily. But if you allow everything, you invite anything. There is also a mindset shift that happens when you start protecting yourself. You stop chasing approval. You stop explaining your every move. You stop feeling guilty for choosing yourself, because you realize something important. You are not responsible for meeting everyone's expectations. You are responsible for maintaining your own standards. And standards create value. There is a person who cancels their own plans every time someone else calls. They adjust, they sacrifice, they compromise, and slowly their own priorities disappear. People don't see their time as important, because even they don't treat it as important. Now imagine the same person saying, "I already have plans." Not aggressively, not rudely, just clearly. That one sentence changes everything. It tells the world, "My time matters." And when your time matters to you, it starts mattering to others. Protection also creates mystery. When people don't know everything about you, they become curious. When they don't have constant access, they appreciate the moments they get. When they can't predict you completely, they pay attention. You don't have to prove your value. You have to preserve it. Because value is not built by giving more and more. It is built by knowing when to stop. And the moment you start protecting your peace, your time, your energy, your self-respect, you stop being an option in people's lives. You become a priority they don't want to lose. There comes a moment in life when you get tired, not physically, but emotionally. Tired of being available for everyone, but not valued by anyone. Tired of giving your best and receiving the bare minimum. Tired of being too nice in a world that only respects strength. And that moment is not your breaking point. That moment is your awakening. Because now you finally see what you couldn't see before. That your kindness was never the problem. Your lack of boundaries was. That your heart was never weak. It was just unprotected. That your value was never low. You just gave it to people who couldn't recognize it. Listen carefully. The world does not reward those who lose themselves trying to please everyone. The world respects those who stand firm in who they are. You were not created to be easy to access. You were not created to be available at everyone's convenience. You were not created to be a place where people come, take what they need, and leave without giving anything back. You were created with purpose, with power, with a presence that deserves respect. But respect is not given to those who beg for it. It is given to those who demand it through their standards. From this moment forward, something must change. No more saying yes when your soul is screaming no. No more allowing people to cross lines just to keep peace. No more shrinking yourself just to fit into someone else's comfort. Because every time you shrink, you lose a piece of who you are. And the truth is, the strongest people are not the ones who give the most. They are the ones who know when to stop. You must become that person, the one who is kind but not weak, the one who is loving but not blind, the one who is available but not for everyone. Because when you start protecting your energy, when you start choosing your peace, when you start respecting your own boundaries, something powerful happens. People who used to take you for granted start noticing your absence. People who ignored your value start questioning your silence. People who had easy access to you now realize it was a privilege they didn't deserve. And suddenly, you are no longer the option. You become the standard. Remember this line because it will change your life. You teach people how to treat you by what you allow. So raise your standards, protect your space, guard your heart. Not everyone deserves to sit at your table. Not everyone deserves to hear your story. Not everyone deserves your time, your energy, your presence. And that is not arrogance. That is self-respect. Because at the end of the day, if you don't protect yourself, no one else will do it for you. So stand up, not against people, but for yourself. Walk away, not out of anger, but out of clarity. Say no, not to hurt others, but to honor your own worth. And never forget this. You are not here to be liked by everyone. You are here to be respected by the right ones. And when you finally live by that truth, you don't chase attention anymore. You don't beg for validation anymore. You don't fear losing people anymore, because you understand something greater. Anyone who leaves because you set boundaries was never meant to stay in your life anyway.